Alright, Reefer, so today we are at the House of Tropicals, and the reason I'm here is because I'm meeting my good friend Yaya, and she's going to take over 2 of the guppies. So I'm giving her a tequila sunset male and then a red tail female. She's going to help me take care of them. I'm sure they'll have a super happy life. She's got a nice tank. And over here we got the Paleco that is going to get way too large for my tank, even after I upgraded to the 9 gallon. So hopefully it'll have a really nice home in her beautiful fish tank as well.
Okay, hold on. Let me position the fish over here. Okay, right on bottom. I see now.
Also tropical, and today is all about freshwater planted tank. Usually I come here, I just stay in the marine section, but of course with my new planted tank, now I'm venturing out, checking out all the aquatic plants. It's pretty cool. Here are the Monte Carlos. It's supposed to be a pretty good alternative to the Dwarf baby tier, because baby tier is a little bit tougher to keep. But for a small tank like mine, I feel like the Monte Carlos leaves a little bit too large. So over here, they sell baby tiers already attached to a driftwood, which is kind of cool. And it's $20. So I was tempted by that for sure, but ultimately I think I'm gonna go with the one on mat, so I can divide it up and try to line the substrate with it. And these 20 highlight plus CO2. I think that's a move. This is the Dwarf pennyworts, also sold by the mats. Another nice alternative in terms of how large it is. It's like seems to be small leaves, but I don't know anything about them. I don't know if they carpet or not. And again, compared to the Dwarf baby tier, the baby tier is still a lot smaller in terms of the leaf size. So I think I'm gonna stick with these guys. And in comparison, this is the regular size baby tier. They have longer legs. I'm not sure if that's the normal growth or if the light is not strong. That's why it's like this. And comparison of size, right next to it, we got the Monte Carlo. Really cool. And of course, we have the Dwarf baby tier right here as well. So that is also something I eventually want to get. Some Java moss. I would love to grow some Java moss on the rocks, but I'm going to start with the baby tier first and see how it goes. Check these guys out. Large blue prawn. And they're being sold here for $30 each. These guys are really lucky they end up here, because in Hong Kong we eat them for dinner. Guys, there was a super awesome purple long tentacle anemone that's like bright purple for only $60. But I walk around the store for like 20 minutes and it's gone. It's soaked. Dude, I'm so sad. I guess you snooze, you lose, right? So right here we got some red macro algae on rock. I'm actually really tempted to pick some of these guys up for Mochi's tank, because I got a bubble tip anemone right at the tip of the rocks. It's gonna sting whatever coral I put there. So this may be the move, especially they got really nice shape. Almost like SPS, so I may actually bring home one of these. It's not the cheapest thing, but I think it's going to add a lot to the aquascape. So I'm going to check it out, see how large these pieces are. If it's small enough, I'm going to bring one home. Alright, my mission here today is find rocks for the planted tank. Alright, so I think this is probably what I will be going with. I'll see if there's any like interesting looking ones and we'll go with it. If not, I may go check out some other place. So it's try not to rush the process. So we'll see. And it's not too expensive. Although low key, I could probably go behind my house and collect some from the wild. All right, let's see what we got. Man, every time I go to House of Tropicals, I spend money. I was only going to come in, buy some rocks. I ended up spending about $100. So I got some Dwarf baby tier. I got mad of it. And I also got a nice clump of red macro algae that grows on rock. That cost $60. It's a lot of money, but I feel like I don't see it that often, especially in that density. So I went ahead and got it because I feel like it'll really complete the 17-gallon drop-off tank. So even though this episode is all about freshwater, I still ended up buying some saltwater stuff. Oh, what do you know? Inappropriate Reefer, right? All right, let's go home and put everything together. All right, guys. So on the way home, I decided to stop by Tropical Lagoon, another really historic local fish store around the area. And the reason I did that is because like I'm not 100% satisfied with the rock I got from House of Tropical. So here we go. We'll check it out. Hey. Tropical Lagoon. This one has been here around like, I think like 50 or 60 years. It's been a long time. So it has a really strong mom and pop vibe. But sometimes you get some great stuff. So every winter in the back of the store, we got this guy. 10. Look at this guy, he's picking out. So I actually thought about keeping a giant turtle like this in my basement, but the idea was quickly shut down. Look how awesome is he?
Yeah, but I'm just keep some normal.
So this piece of wood may be good for the terrarium. You guys don't know I'm setting up a terrarium as well, right?
3 hours later.
All right, reefers. Do I still call you guys reefers? So I got home. I could not wait. I got a couple of pieces of rocks, and I picked 3 of them that seems to work well together and put them in the tank. So basically, the idea is that we have one major focal point right there. That's this piece, and then I got a supporting structure slightly behind it, and then we got an accent piece. Now the accent piece is a little bit too large for my taste, and I feel like they may not be exact same type of rock, although they should be. So I'm still in the search of a slightly better accent piece. That piece I'm pretty happy with. I mean, I could go with an even larger one, but the selection was pretty slim at House of Tropicals today, so that's what I picked up. But I'll keep an eye out. These can just be kind of like a placeholder for now. And the concept I want to go with is that there's like one big hill here, and then there's a little valley, and then goes into a small rolling hill. But I feel like the contrast is not there yet. So I probably need to pull some soil from the back and kind of build this up a little bit more. So it's a little bit more obvious. Right now, you kind of get the idea, but you don't get that, oh, damn. You know what I mean? So it's either the rock is not large enough, or I need to, maybe I can bring it up to a foreground a little bit, because it's sitting pretty far back right now, because I wanted to try to give it more foreground, so I feel like there's more depth. But if I bring it a little bit more forward, I feel like maybe it'll be a little bit more impressive. Especially on camera right now, it looks kind of weak, man. But in person, it looks all right. Or maybe I can tuck another piece of rock underneath it because I got all these rocks to kind of raise it up a little bit more. All right, guys. So I have played around with the rock a little bit more, and I think I'm pretty happy with what I have so far. And I've also decided to just kind of set the tank up right here because I just don't have room for the small tank anywhere else in the house. So I'm gonna have the tank just right here as kind of like a decoration on this. On this table for the next, I guess, 5 or 6 weeks until the dry start has ended. So now I'm gonna divide up the Dwarf baby tiers, and then I'm gonna wet the substrate, and then we're gonna do some planting. Man, I'm sounding like I know what to do, except I have no idea what's going on. So let's get down to it together. So right here, I got my chopping board that I used to cook, which I rarely use. So this is actually a good use for the chopping board. I open up the metal crate. Now, I'm not sure if this is a proper way to do it or not. Again, I'm total newbie when it comes to freshwater, but this is what I did last time with the Dwarf baby tier I got. But then again, I waited a while before I did this. So a lot of them has already gotten a lot. Oh man, I'm not sure if this is the right way. But whatever, we're committed. So I'm trying to be gentle and just kind of pull the substrate off. Okay, so we got some on here, and then a lot of them remain on the metal mesh, so it must be the right way, I hope. Now, one worry I do have is when I'm ready to move this tank, it may be a little bit too heavy by the time it's waterlocked. But this is a 9-gallon tank, so I'm hoping that if I'm really careful and support the glass throughout the bottom glass throughout the way, I'm not gonna crack the glass or anything like that, because that's gonna be catastrophic. And the reason I'm setting it up here is because I'm simply just out of room. I don't see any good place to move the 2.6 gallon to, unless I go to the kitchen counter. I really don't want to go into that space. Alright guys, so I have divided up the two Dwarf baby tier, I guess, what do you call it, like colony? I've divided up into smaller plants, right? A lot of small plants. This way I can kind of space them out evenly and then plant them and do a dry start. And the reason I want to do a dry start is because if you look here, the roots are pretty shallow for the Dwarf baby tiers. So the issue I have when I was planting it in the 2.6 gallon small tank is that I couldn't get them to anchor down onto the substrate. So that seems to be a pretty common issue with the Dwarf baby tiers, and some people recommend trying a dry start with the tank. What that means is that I'm gonna just wet the substrate, and then I'm gonna just tuck them in a little bit, or some people recommend just kind of sprinkle them on top of the substrate. Don't even put them into the substrate, and they'll find their own way in. And then once I have a pretty healthy root system in about 5 or 6 weeks, then I can flood the tank. And by that time, all the plants should be pretty well grown, so they won't float up into the water column. They'll just anchor down. But the downside is that I'm gonna get some die-offs, and then I got to immediately start pumping CO2 in there with this species. So I got these all divided up. Now I'm gonna pretend I know what to do with this, guys, and well, first of all, I'm gonna wet the substrate first. All right, guys, so I use about 3/4 of this bottle wetting the substrate, and I think the instruction is supposed to be like the water should come almost all the way to the top of the lowest point, but it should not pool. I'm not 100% sure if I'm at that point. I feel like maybe I'm close, but I kind of get it. I kind of feel like this should be enough. And I'm using this estimate because you may not know, but I actually built terrarium. If you guys are interested, I can definitely do videos on this as well. But anyways, back to here. So the concept is similar. I'm gonna plant those Dwarf baby tiers in here, and then we're gonna saran wrap this, and then we're gonna put a light source on it. And this way, the moisture is trapped in here, and there are different ways to see if you have enough water or not, especially if this is anything close to a terrarium. So it should be okay. We can adjust as needed. Yo, apart from the light, I need some light, so I just kind of use the flat one. But dude, this is so tough, man. How are you guys doing this? Oh, look at this, look at this. So let's say I want to plant here, right? I stick it in. As soon as I pull out, I pull the whole thing out. How are you guys doing this? So I stick it in. Okay, let me open it up. Oh, okay. So I stick it in, open it up, and pull out. Man, this sounds dirty. All right, but I was checking Instagram as I'm doing this, and people are saying that to make the little thing smaller. So, fudge. Are you kidding? I'm going back to be a reefer. Screw this. What the hell? Why is it so difficult? Here, let's just do this. Screw it. Don't judge me, guys. I'm new here. All right, here, let's try it again. So get a good grasp, right? Near the roots. Stick it in nice and deep. Open up. Yes! And I low-key buried it a little bit, just for good measure. Stick it in. See, the problem's like, as soon as I try to pull out, it just kind of come back up with the tweezer or forceps or whatever you guys call this. I'm sure you have a fancy name for this. I'm just gonna bury it, man. And oh man, these pieces are probably too large, but you know what? Inappropriate reefer. Oh wait, it's split into two. It's perfect. Man, this is terrible, dude. I'm sorry you have to watch this. You guys probably shaking your head or laughing. Leave a comment if you're cracking up right now. Dude, I'm shaking. Feel the pressure. Look, as I push it in, it just kind of ride up with the substrate. What am I doing wrong, guys? Coming in, I thought it'd be hot shit. I'll be all cool, like jam it in and then just pull the tweezer out and that's it. But of course, I'm starting from 0. So a method that I found seems to work for me is like if I jam it in, if it feels like it's gonna pull out with the tweezer, I just kind of use my finger to hold it down, and that seems to work. I like bury it a tiny bit. This actually probably not deep enough, and the substrate is actually kind of dry, so I gotta spray it there. So that seems to work for me. Basically, I take a little clump. Oh, that one's no good. Take a little clump right here, space it out, kind of jam it in there, put my finger over it, and lift the tweezer. That seems to work well for me. Yeah, I don't know how you guys just do the pop and stick it out all clean. I don't know, you guys. Maybe one day I'll get to that point, but in the meantime, I'm that grasshopper trying to learn the way of the freshwater planted tank. It's kind of fun. In the beginning, it's kind of frustrating when I couldn't get things in, like stay in. But once I kind of figured that out, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Then I'm getting it. I'm slowly getting it. All right, we'll see. I'll be right back.
2,000 years later.
All right, guys. So all planted. My back hurt like crap. I don't know how you guys do it. Obviously, they're not perfectly spaced out like all you gurus out there. So it's kind of like a patchwork. But it is what it is. This is my first run. Let's see if this works. Stretch tight, the preferred saran wrap for planted tank aquarists. Alright guys, so here it is, the quote-unquote masterpiece. Hindsight, I may need a little more rock, but we'll see. I can always add more later, right? If there's another big piece right here to add some more contrast, that'd be nice. I'll be on the lookout, but I just want to get the process started. We can always tweak a little bit. Let me walk to the other side as well. Definitely takes a lot of patience in the beginning, especially since I have no idea what's going on. So now we are into the dry start period. And I need to start preparing. After 5 or 6 weeks, I should be flooding the tank, and at that point I'll need a filtration system set up, and I'll need a CO2 injection system set up, and I'll have about 6 weeks to get all my ducks in order. And in the meantime, I think every day I'm supposed to let it air out for about 10 minutes or so. So I'll try to remember to do that. And the light's already on timer. Right now I'm setting it to, I think, 10 hours a day at 100%. Especially since like these guys like highlight. Actually, you know what? Hindsight, I may dial back instead of 100%. I'll go like 80 or 70%. Because once I added water, that's going to cut down on the intensity, and at that point I need to up the light intensity. If I'm going 100% right away, then I won't have anything else to give, so I may dial it back to maybe 70%. Whew. Alright, enjoyable process, back-breaking before I figure out how to really put these things down, and frustrating at the same time. But overall, enjoyable, right? It's something to do on a Sunday night. It's kind of nice. And I'm really glad to finally take this plunge into the planted tank. We're jumping into the deep end, starting with Dwarf baby tears, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see we'll see if it becomes like adult tears, like my tears, as things start yellowing and dying. You notice some of the plants actually starting to yellow a little bit, and I think these are the ones from the guppy tank, because the condition is not right. So we'll see how it goes, and I will be on the search for one more large rock here, and then a better accent rock. Alright guys, well, I'll keep you guys posted. In the meantime, take care, and I'll see you guys next Sunday at 9:30 a.m. sharp. See you! Alright, we're about to find out if frogfish eats ammo crab. Oh my goodness, this makes me so nervous.